Here's everything that we did during our visit to the North Carolina mountains in September. And honestly, I didn't realize there were so many amazing things to do. We drove over Wednesday morning, and it took just over 3 hours from Wake Forest to get to the Boone, North Carolina area. Our first stop was the famed Mystery Hill, as I had to see what the hype was all about. It's advertised as some sort of gravity vortex, and between us, I'm not so sure I'm a believer, but the experiences were a lot of fun. You start with a short tour explaining how odd phenomena continue to happen in that location over the years, and then you go into the slanted room where water flows upwards and tennis balls go uphill, and it looks like you're standing on an angle. The room itself is slanted on a hill, and be forewarned, it does feel weird in there and it can make you feel a little woozy. It's hard to maintain your balance at first until you adjust, but regardless of it being a gravity vortex versus an illusion, it was fun to play in. They also had more attractions that play to illusions, and our kids loved the massive bubbles that we engulfed them in. We then went into downtown Boone to eat an early dinner, and downtown Boone is so cute. It's definitely a college town with Appalachian State built within, and the design and aesthetics are perfect for a mountain town. We ended up eating at the local, which seemed pretty popular by the number of people that were there early, and it was very good. We stayed in an Airbnb by Mountain Magic Resorts that was in essentially a community of Airbnbs, sharing a large plot of land where there were tons of farm animals, tree swings, a zip line, and a large slide that was a major hit. They even had pickleball. Out of everything though, our kids loved the pig there named Flynn, who honestly acted like a dog in its need for affection. The next morning, we took about a 45-minute drive down to Linville Caverns. This was around a 30 or so minute tour taking you into the active limestone cavern, and it had some amazing views. I had never been in a true cavern before, so it was so neat to experience. A little warning though, there are portions of the tour that can make you feel claustrophobic, and for the young kids, they do turn out the lights to let you experience complete darkness for about 10 seconds. It did make our kids a bit nervous, but overall, it was a great experience. We then headed over to Linville Falls, which was a longer than normal hike given the visitor center was still closed from Hurricane Helene damage. We ended up hiking about 3/4 of a mile to 2 different overlooks, and overall, the hike was not too challenging for the area. The first overlook was a little bit scary for me with the kids, but the second one was a little more substantial and offered the best views of the falls and the gorge. We then headed back north to Blowing Rock, traveling along the Blue Ridge Parkway. We stopped at the Beacon Heights overlook, which had breathtaking views, but let me tell you, that was not an easy hike with kids. It was only a quarter mile or so, but it was all uphill with every step on rocks or roots. The view was worth it, but I didn't allow the little ones to wander at all here with the drop-off. We then made it to downtown Blowing Rock, and it is as beautiful as advertised, like something out of a movie with its mountain-themed shops, restaurants, and its gorgeous landscaping. We ate at a local favorite called the Town Tavern, which had bar-style food, and it was pretty good. And we topped off the day with ice cream from Kilwins. Friday morning, we woke up and spent several hours in the Grandfather Mountain Park. This portion did require a paid entrance fee per person, and it gives you access to the mile-high swinging bridge, an incredibly scenic overlook that I could spend hours at, and a small zoo that had bald eagles, bears, cougars, otters, and elk. You also get access to trails that take you into the Grandfather Mountain State Park, where many have seen the more challenging hikes with steep hills and ladders. We didn't do this since we had the kids. We then went to our kids' absolute favorite attraction of the whole trip, and that's the Alpine coaster. This privately owned track gets you up to speeds of 27 miles per hour, which felt very fast going down the track and around the curves. The cars have handles that allow you to control your speed, so if you're uncomfortable, you can slow down to nearly a crawl. The kids loved every minute of it, and they were going full speed by the end. Do note that kids need to be at least 9 and 54 inches to ride alone, so younger kids will need an adult to ride with them, which the cars are comfortably designed for. We then headed up the road to downtown Banner Elk, which was the smaller of the downtowns compared to Boone and Blowing Rock, but it's just as nice. We ate at the popular Banner Elk Cafe and Tavern, which had a massive menu and plenty of outside seating. And our last day was Saturday, where we had 2 amazing experiences. The first was Troy's 105 Diner for breakfast, themed after an old diner, and the food was incredible. Get there early to avoid a wait. We then headed to Tweetsie Railroad, which was only open on Saturday and Sunday when we went, so plan accordingly. This place was so much bigger than I thought, with a Wild West theme throughout that felt almost like a section of Disney World. The main event was the train ride, powered by an actual coal-burning engine. Along the way, there were 2 stops with roughly 5-minute performances by the crew simulating robberies and battles. Beyond the train ride, there were lots of rides geared towards the 10 and under group throughout the park. There were shows, a playground, and quite a few spots to grab something to eat, whether that be ice cream or an actual fair-style meal. Overall, Tweetsie was a lot of fun fun for younger kids, but for middle and high school ages, they will likely be bored and too big for many of the rides. Lastly, we went back to downtown Blowing Rock, and on a Saturday, it was very crowded. Parking was a major pain, but again, it's a beautiful place with so many spots to eat. The kids played on the newly built playground there, and we ate at Sixpence Pub, an Irish-themed bar and grill, and it was good. That does it for our trip. I highly recommend exploring this area of Boone. There was so much more around there that we didn't do, and I can't wait for our next trip.